Hello, everyone. So, after I had the opportunity to talk to all of you very recently, I was presented with a few extra questions after the discussion. So, I wanted to take a few minutes to answer those questions for you guys. And I just want to thank you guys again for having me. It was a really awesome experience to connect with all of you. So, the first question that I got was do you know other Black Sikhs? Is there community amongst you? So yes, I know quite a few Black Sikhs. Most of them are in the United States. The there is a we do stay connected, but we're all in very different places, and the community is in kind of a weird place right now, where being Black and being Sikh is incredibly rare. I can only think of off the top of my head, I know um, maybe half a dozen or more in the United States. Um, I'm not sure, I don't think I can think of anyone in Canada other than myself, and I can think of a couple names in the UK. But for as much as we all talk, we're all just sharing experiences and talking about how we all came into the community and what our reception was like. And as much as we all continue, well, at least those of us that are like making an effort to be quite visible, we get out and we do it. We talk to predominantly the Punjabi community, the Punjabi Sikh community, about being more open, about facing its challenges with racism and things like that, anti-Blackness in Southeast Asian cultures, etc., etc. So we do stay connected, but we all practice a little bit differently because we all come from very different backgrounds. But it's always awesome to connect with them whenever we make that happen. Okay, so the second question that I got is, what do you think the response to you as a Black Sikh is? What do you think the response to you as a Black Sikh is in Black spaces, noting that you really aren't in Black spaces currently? So this is an excellent question. 2 years ago, I worked at an airport here in Calgary for a couple of years. And while I was there, I had so many people, both people who were coworkers and people who were passengers, constantly coming up to me all the time and asking me about being a Sikh and being Black and how did I get into it, and asking me questions about the faith, things like that. When I was there, and this was, keep in mind that before I came to Calgary, and I've been here for I think 4 years now, I was living in Toronto. And when I was in Toronto, it wasn't until maybe the last year, I think, that I really started keeping all the articles of faith and studying, just a ridiculous amount every single day. So I wasn't really quite visible as a Sikh because I wasn't tying to the star. I was growing my hair, but like it was really slow to come in. So you couldn't really pick me out of a crowd very well. I wasn't really visible in the community until I came to Calgary. So my experiences in Calgary really are the bulk of my experiences as a Black Sikh who is, an advocate and very active in the Sikh community. Now, with that in mind, while I'm working at the airport and I'm talking to other Black people that are passengers or coworkers, we have some time to sit and talk to each other. There is a theme that of like my faith was quite respectable because I had taken so much time to investigate it and really connect with it in an intimate way. And a common response that I would get is one of people feeling a little bit embarrassed that they didn't quite know that much about their faith, or people feeling a little bit awkward about, you know, their ancestors being colonized and converted to some form of Christianity. And so they would often come to me and sort of look at me like I'm this kind of outlier of like, good for you. Like, that's really cool that you found this tradition that you really connected with and you just own it 100%. But outside of that, they just, I'm just another person, right? And so, it was really awesome to connect with people in that way. But for the most part, I don't think that I was, I don't think that I was really viewed as being, like special or odd or anything like that. I think that it was just that relationship that I have with the faith that really pulled at people's curiosity when they would come to talk to me. Okay, so last question is, it's not really a question, but it says, a few noted how strong your faith must be to live in this space without Black people and presumed loneliness. So I think that this is like a really awesome point to make. It's not one that I actually get to talk about very much because I don't like most of the people that want to engage with me in a religious context are Punjabis. And so for them, I don't think they really see the other side of my relationship with the community. And I do think that it's a very fair point of, I grew up surrounded by Black people. There's so much about the culture that I really love. And as I got older and I moved away from home, even being in the military, it was a little bit isolating because I was one of very, very small number of, Black men that was in basic training. And then when I got to my unit, so very few Black people, Black soldiers. Then when I got out of the military, more and more I just started really keeping to myself. And then as I got more into Sikhi, it was being more heavily involved with the Punjabi community. And so now I have very few Black friends, and they all, most of them live in the U.S. I don't really get to see them, but maybe once every couple of years or so. And so I'm estranged from my family, for other reasons. It has nothing to do with me as a Sikh, but it kind of feels like a death of my former self, and like I don't really have the opportunity to mourn or to talk about it. And there's a lot of lost opportunity now, I think, in my life relating to that. I mean, especially with my daughter, and I have to try to think about how am I gonna teach her about Black culture. From where I came from, there's a lot of references to Black culture or popular culture that I don't really get to share with people because they're just not gonna get it. Black movies or Black music or jokes that I heard about, or like that I used to tell when I was younger, or Black history. This year during Black History Month, I was talking to my daughter about Black abolitionists. So we were able to find some movies online about Henry Box Brown, and it was really fun and exciting to get to see her engage with Black culture and with Black history in that way, because she doesn't really get very much of it. So yeah, we're really trying to put it in her life, but without having the community around, I still feel like it feels a bit foreign, so that's a challenge that I'm trying to face, that I'm still facing right now. And then in terms of like having other Black friends that are Sikhs, um, they're there, but like they're occasional figures. I do know someone, he lives in the US. He's Black, he's a Sikh, he married a Punjabi woman. They have 2 kids. And it's really cool like when our families were able to get together and spend time together, because he was in they were here in Calgary for a little while. But it's there's I don't know, so like at least for my daughter's sake, there's a part of me that wants a little bit more of that in her life. So yeah, I think that's about it. I hope that I answered those questions sufficiently and I didn't forget too much to leave anything out. But another thing that I did want to say about Black spaces is that virtual spaces are like where I'm interacting with the community. I'm learning about Sikh Twitter, and I'm also learning that there's Black Sikh Twitter. So those are pretty fun. But like again, like that's a very personal journey for me at this point in time. So the social engagement, the sort of organic engagement that I get with people is few and far between, but it's still a work in progress. And the Black Sikh community is so new and so small. I feel like maybe that's why it's so much more important for all of us to continue to reach out and to make ourselves available to speak to people and, to stay visible. And to advocate for more people who are coming into the faith so that they don't run into a lot of the same challenges that we had, or so that they are aware of the kinds of strategies that, we used in dealing with a lot of the aggression or, a lot of the bias, that we were put up against and trying to come into the to Sikhi. So, yeah, we're working on it. But thank you. These questions were really amazing, and yeah, reach out to me anytime. I mean, I'm active on social media, or if my contact information is made to anybody, I'm always happy to come and answer any questions that you guys might have if you guys think of other stuff that you want to talk about. But thank you so much for the opportunity. This was amazing.